All right, everybody. Welcome to the competition room. We've seen a lot over the weekend. We've had the daily fantasy challenge. We've had the startup competition. And today we are bringing you esports. So for the 7th year running, SSAC has had panels on esports. And this is the 2nd year running that we're having a live competition. So we're going to start out with our NBA LCS celebrity matchup. On the right side of the stage, we have the Harvard team. And on the left side of the stage, we have the MIT squad. Yeah, so make it up. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, and I'm very excited to share this moment with 4 celebrity guests. So, first up, we have the Director of Esports Development for the Houston Rockets and leader of esports at Clutch Gaming. Please welcome Sebastian Park. Yep, go up this way here. So also joining us today, the Assistant General Manager of the Golden State Warriors and Vice President of GSW Sports Ventures, including the Golden Guardians. Give it up for Kirk Lacob. So along with Sebastian on the MIT squad, we bring you the CEO of FlyQuest, an esports organization with teams competing in League of Legends, Rocket League, and players' unknown background. Please welcome Ryan Edens. And finally, joining Kirk with Harvard, please give it up for the point guard of the Brooklyn Nets, Jeremy Lin. So our 4 special guests are also panelists, so we thank them for their time. We enjoyed Kirk on yesterday's panel on esports ownership. And don't miss this afternoon's panel on esports analytics, which features Ryan, Jeremy, and Sebastian. All right, thank you.
All right. Well, we're here. We're finally ready.
All right. After a very long delay, we are ready to play some League of Legends, ready to watch.
That's right. My name is Jack Harmoning. We introduced ourselves a little bit earlier, but time to go through one more time. And this is Jacob Joseph Gorin.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, so we're going to get into it in a short bit. And
yeah. So a lot of this audience is probably not super familiar with esports, maybe not even League of Legends in particular. And the game is pretty crazy from an outside perspective. It looks like a bunch of fantasy players. It looks like Lord of the Rings on ice. And we're going to be trying to walk you through both what is happening in the game, why it's important, and if the players are making good plays or bad. In esports, just like traditional sports, we have casters. In League of Legends, we're called shoutcasters because we tend to be a little bit more loud and energetic than our Gulf counterparts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we are completely in the dark, so we're gonna also enjoy this lighting and a little bit of there we go.
Give us light.
Yeah.
Have us.
Jacob and I have some experience casting League of Legends. I think that we haven't had this caliber of teams. Maybe I've never had an MIT versus Harvard game, but that's
I've
that's
had
the
an
classic.
MIT versus Picking University game.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I guess that does sound. So we're gonna be having the Charles River Classic here.
Yep.
I think that we're gonna be in for a treat here. So it looks like they're getting all ready. Well, let's go into some of the just basic things about League that matter.
Yeah, we should probably explain the game. So
yeah, sure.
First off, what is League of Legends? It is a 5-on-5 game in which both teams are trying to push in to the enemy base and destroy the Nexus. The Nexus, the core of the enemy base, surrounded by towers, walls, a jungle, all of this that the other team has to push and get through, destroy, and slowly and surely get to Nexus.
In order to do that, you pick different characters in the game. The game has a cast of hundreds basically of characters, and those characters give you access to different strategies and tactics in order to execute that goal. Sometimes people focus more on 1v1s. They want to just be able to kill their other opponent, defeat them in single combat, and then be able to get advantages that way. Other teams focus on drafts that will give you more advantages in full-on 5v5s, that as a team, you are going to be able to defeat your opponents in that way. But both strategies basically require an individual execution at a really high level and intelligent play before the game even starts with what you pick as your team.
Important things to note, crowd control, specifically, which we'll say CC for. Crowd control, it allows certain champions have abilities that will stop the enemy from moving for a couple of seconds, keep them in place, allow your team to start doing damage, start getting more advantages in lane through that type of pressure of being able to lock down someone and taking them completely out of the fight.
But for you guys, what you guys should be looking most for, we have kind of teams that have just been thrown together for this event. These are not, the highest level professionals in the world. So this is going to be a game about basically those 1v1 matchups. Because you have this big map with 5 players, they don't start off just running into each other, usually. Usually they split off for the first 15 or so minutes of the game into a matchup of 2v2 in the bot of the map, the bottom side, 1v1 in the middle, and 1v1 at the top, with a jungler who runs around the map and tries to assist his team. So we're going to be seeing a lot of individual matchups. We're going to be seeing Sebastian Park versus Jeremy Lin potentially. We're going to be seeing Vinny Vici of MIT versus Duck. And then when the teams finally come together, we'll see how they mesh. We'll see how their synergy lines up.
And we're getting into the picks and bans right now. So the picks and bans stage of the game is if there's certain champions that players don't want to play against or champions that they want to pick. So the bans are for getting rid of champions that the team doesn't want to play against or they think is very strong.
So one thing that differs, that makes kind of esports a little bit different than traditional sports is many esports have a constantly updating game. So in the same way that you might have a rule change in a traditional sport, the game itself, League of Legends, is constantly changing. We're right now on patch 8.4. We'll be playing on 8.3. And there are basically like dozens and dozens of variations of the game historically, in addition to players just becoming better at the game and learning mastery over their own play. The game itself changes. And so sometimes you'll have champions in the game that are exceptionally powerful, that are overpowered or, not worth playing. So that last game we just saw, that the little girl with the eye round is regularly regarded as one of the most broken champions in the game. She makes it very, very difficult to play any strategy.
She is currently League of Legends' newest release champion. There's now there's one on the PvE server right now that's being play tested. But yes, Zoe, very often referred to as a not fun champ to play against because of her.
Super fun to play as.
Yes, of course. Once you can land all your skills. But right now for bans, on the blue side we have Fizz, who's an AP assassin who goes into the mid lane, does a ton of damage. Lulu, who is a support, she goes into the bottom lane. She offers shields, protection, speed, and a bit of damage early game. And then we have Yasuo, who is usually a top laner or mid laner. He does an extreme amount of damage late game. He goes with critical chance, which increases the attack damage late into the game. And then on the red side, we have Zoe, we talked about earlier, who's a mid laner, does a ton of damage.
I feel like that Annie is actually what we call a target ban.
Yes.
A target ban is when you don't ban based off of the actual champ's strength. You ban based on what you think the other player is going to play. And Annie is one of the easiest champions in the game to play. So I feel like that might be a little bit of a call-out to Sebastian Park or Fly Ryan.
It might be to Ryan if he decides to play any support. Oh, getting the Mordekaiser, I just realized that. But and the last ban on red side for the first time is Lee Sin, who's a very capable jungler. He's great early game. He can get off ganks very well. He's extremely well mobility-wise. Yeah. And so let's go into what the picks have been.
Yeah, so right now it looks like the teams, at least from my perspective, all of these characters have a lot of what we call engage potential or pick potential. They're ready to fight at almost any time.
Absolutely. On MIT side, we have Galio in the top lane. He's Vinny Vici is hovering him. Galio offers a very strong team fight. He has a taunt which allows, which makes the enemy target him so that they don't target his
When
allies.
Galio decides to fight, you basically have to fight.
Yes. Galio goes in and he stays in.
Yeah.
He'll also go to teammates in trouble with his ultimate. He also works extremely well with the Jarvan, with Jarvan's ultimate, which encloses a a small section with champions in it.
Jarvan is the second person on the...
He is hovering by Mafcow.
Yeah.
Then we have Rakan, which is being hovered by Coronar, who is also great at engage. He has very high mobility as well, with three of his skills allowing him to travel or increase his movement speed. Then on Harvard's side, we have there we go. We have Victor being hovered by Sorzath. Victor is very strong in the mid lane, especially now with his recent changes.
Let's see what Sebastian Park locks in.
Gonna be. I mean, they have not picked an AD carry yet, which AD carry for those who don't know. Oh, we're getting the Ezreal.
Wow.
Ezreal very safe because of his disengage with his E.
So could you outline what the idea of disengage means
Absolutely.
for the layman?
So disengage is so you can either have a champion that engages or disengages. Engaging is going all in, going straight for the attack. Oh, we have a
Garen. Garen is the character they give you in the tutorial. This is Jeremy's Lin, second time playing the game. He traditionally plays a cousin of this game in the same genre. It's called Dota.
Yep.
League of Legends is, in our opinion, maybe the better game. But
perhaps. Let's not be biased.
But let's not be biased. Let's not all esports. They've all got their strengths. But Jeremy Lin is bringing out Garen. Garen is actually not that bad into this composition, in my opinion. I think it might be a strategic pick.
They might have target banned him with Camille and Gangplank for some reason, but he's going with the Garen. And Garen into Kled is not bad. Kled doesn't offer the damage to take Garen down to...
Yeah. So in League of Legends, there are different kind of types of champions. So you have champions that we call them squishy because they have very low health. They can be killed easily, taken advantage of easily, but they deal a lot of damage.
Yes,
then
especially later in the game.
Right. And then you have champions that are called tanks. Tanks tend to provide crowd control. That's what we talked about earlier. Immobilization, preventing people from doing what they want to do so that other damaged players can try to attack. So playing a tank is really, really good if you're trying to be risk averse.
Garen in this case doesn't have a lot of crowd control. All he has is his Q ability, which is a silence. A silence doesn't allow a champion to cast abilities or use any of their summoner spells.
If you were playing the game and you had an ability that was set to your Q key on the keyboard and you just started spamming Q trying to get your move to play and Garen has just hit you, you don't get to do anything.
All right, well, we're into the game now. Both teams ready to go.
Yeah, this is MIT versus Harvard. Give it up for the classic Charles River
Let us have a great game.
Yeah, we're going to see how everybody plays it out.
My room page is wrong. All right.
All right.
Sebastian Park.
Sebastian Park immediately. Now, there are many, many, many mechanics. You've heard us basically give you guys a fire hose of information so far. There's even more things that we haven't talked about. Sebastian Park had the opportunity to give himself advantages in this game before the game started with his setup, basically determining what kinds of bonuses his champion gets. And he, according to him, picked the wrong one.
Yes,
I think it's okay. He's got Unsealed Spellbook.
I think he meant to pick Kleptomancy, which is on Ezreal, allows him to get items, gold.
Basically, you get gold for attacking your opponent, which is really, really good because you don't usually get that.
Yeah. And it's very safe with his Q ability, which allows him to shoot off a small shot of energy.
Basically, he's now forced to play a little bit more aggressively than he wanted to. So the next concept we're going to teach you guys all about is gold minions and how the game works when it plays out. So one of the main resources in this game that you've heard us mention is the idea of a late game, the idea of a mid game, of an early game. The reason those are different is because throughout the game you collect gold, and the gold allows you to buy items, and the items enhance your ability, give you new things to do. And there are certain champions that are really, really good once you get a lot of gold, and some champions don't need very much gold at all. Those are what we call the supports.
And on in the top you can see with those two little gold coins, we can see the amount of gold right now. It's 2.6k.
Oh, Vini Vidi Vici trying to go in on Jeremy Lin. Kled is an extremely aggressive player.
Yeah, Kled, especially on Skarl, and he's mounted. Oh, misses his bear trap on the rope, which is a Q ability. Oh, Jeremy Lin going in for the silence. Yeah,
one of the reasons why Garen is good, though, is because his champion ability means that if he runs away and plays defensive for a certain amount of time, he gets bonus health back. So if Jeremy Lin realizes that he's in a bad spot, he can run away, heal up, go right back into it.
And the health regen is very important, especially with Grasp of the Undying as well, allowing him to get health back after 4 seconds of combat. upon an auto attack.
Yeah.
Very strong Garen, getting more health.
And I think, Jacob, I think we got to change it up. This is not Jeremy Lin. This is Jalen17. We have to make sure we're using the correct in-game names. You know, I'm not Jack Harmoning. I'm Jack Zilla. Yep. The in-game names is an important part of the culture of esports, that you have this online identity that becomes kind of your second life.
Definitely. And we have click up right now.
See, these are the two actual players in a big fight going out in the jungle. HBD Juck trying to flash away, but that's first blood over to the squad from MIT. Now, when you get first blood, the first kill of the game, you get bonus gold. So that's the reason why both those players are willing to go so aggressively to try to avoid that happening or try to get that kill.
And as a jungler, you don't want to be caught out by the other jungler because it puts you behind. And as we can see on the mini map, Jarvan Mafcow is going to be taking Duck's Raptors away, and so he'll have to farm the small remainder of his jungle that he has left, leaving him behind in XP for a bit.
All right. So Lin has pushed off Vinny Vici, who's kind of defending himself well, and there's a big fight breaking out in the bot lane. Rakan going all in, and there's Clayba just putting some autos in. Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty low, though. Oh, they hit him with a Mystic shot.
Yeah, Junior Boogie is doing a really good job of trying to get away, but Sebastian Parker's ready to track down that kill. It looks like Lin going down to Mafcow. A second kill over to that Jarvan. MIT takes 2.
The pressure you got, but it doesn't look like it's over yet.
Yeah, this is great play actually from the bot
behind
lane.
him.
Sebastian Park and FlyQuest Ryan.
Oh, but maybe Doug?
Oh, the flash in. He actually gets it. There's the CC. We talked about it. When Galio wants to go in, he gets it. And that's Sebastian Park with the kill for MIT. Now 3-0. And again, we talked about this as well. How if Garen just plays defensively and runs away safely, he's able to recover a lot of his health.
Yeah, we saw there with Kled, or Vinny Vici right there, is Kled has a passive, which allows him to ride on his mount Skarl, which is that a dinosaur you see below him. And once he gets his courage meter, which is below his health bar, he gets Skarl back. Or Skarl becomes brave enough to come back.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so it looks like not a lot going on in the top.
Oh, my
A little bit of the mid lane. Maybe a preview of matches to come. It's always interesting when it's not the celebrity players. We're like, are they trying to test each other out because they're going to be playing later? Or are they just going for the flashy plays?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
like
Jeremy Lin
though is going to go for something.
Jalen17 going for V3.
Maybe backing off a bit.
Yeah, that's a main concept in MOBAs in general, is the idea that when you're strong, you can force your opponent to back off. You can force them to not get gold, and then make it so that your advantage becomes larger.
Yeah, it looks like Jalen maybe baiting this out. His duck is going in. So probably get Skarl off.
Oh, bouncing back and forth across the map. There's a fight going on in both the top and the bot lane. Vinny Vici running for his life, but he doesn't have a lot of ways out. Duck trying to go for that last kill, but it's too much. MIT with a 5th on the board.
The tower shot took him out. He stepped a little bit too close to comfort.
Yeah, there goes FlyQuest Ryan trying to go into the Junior Boogie. He's alone in the 1v2, but it's not enough quite from Sebastian Park.
Low is Flash too, which is not great against Rakan because Rakan's engage is exceptionally good.
Could you give us an overview of what you mean by Flash? We've been talking about it without really explaining it.
Summoner spells, you can see, we have something going on top real quick.
There's just a lot of fighting.
Goodness. Mafcow has been absolutely dominating
this is disastrous for Harvard.
It's something you don't want the Jarvan to be doing early game. He's early game and late game exceptionally good. His ganking is incredible.
Oh, there's the game cutting out, but we can hear. Yeah, so...
Anyway, so summoner spells, which you can see on the sides of the character icons, are skills that you can use that aren't abilities. They're on long cooldown. Flash is the yellow one, where...
Flash is maybe the most important single ability in the game.
Usually,
almost everybody takes it.
Everyone takes it unless maybe you're a specific person like Shaco and you're trying to ignite. Someone that has a mobility skill in the kit already.
Right.
But Flash allows you to teleport to a small distance, usually not too far, but you can go over walls with it, and etc.
Yeah, so how we've seen it play out this game is most of the time somebody will be trying to get a kill, and they'll flash forward towards their opponent to put them in range. And then the opponent, if they think that they are in danger, will then flash away. both of those players then have to wait 5 minutes before they have access to that mobility again.
Yes. And the time is different for each summoner spell.
Sure.
5.
But generally,
yeah. Generally, but 5 minutes with TP and Flash. A bit shorter time for.
Okay, Junior Boogie trying to go in on the bot lane.
That's a Draven damage.
And there you go. That's the Flash away defensively
look
from Fly.
who's here.
MIT, they're going for another one. Galio coming in from the skies and pounds out. There it is. Another bunch of kills. But finally, Harvard is on the board. That is Junior Boogie putting the first one on, getting a kill on CG.
And because
Park.
And because Vinny Vici and Mafcow were able to take down the top lane turret, it allows them to roam across the map and help out their bottom lane, take their turret.
Oh no! Oh! So one of the things is that turret will target champions if it's not targeting those little minions. And it looks like FlyQuest's Ryan has made a little bit of an error.
A bit too close there.
Yeah, flew too close to sun. Now, because nobody on the enemy team, nobody from Harvard actually hit him, they don't get gold, so it just kind of wastes his time.
Yeah, he'll just go back to base. It won't look good on the scoreboard, but all in all, it doesn't really affect the game too much.
Yeah. So one of the concepts you talked about was that they took the top lane turret. Could you give us a little bit more detail on how that played out?
Absolutely. So taking turrets in the game is very important. Opens up the map, so the enemy team won't be able to retreat to that turret anymore. It leaves open space. And as the map grows smaller and smaller and more turrets are taken, it allows the enemy team to have a lot more pressure. And so we're about to see that pressure right here.
We saw Kled versus Garen. It was Jeremy Lin versus Vini Vici for most of that game. But because he took that tower, now he can just run around with his friends and try to get as many kills as possible.
We're seeing it right now as bot lane is being attacked once again.
Yeah, this is Junior Boogie falling to FlyQuest Ryan and Vini Vici. It's now Coronar trying to take down GG. K. Lacob. Kirk falling again. This is an unfortunate start for Harvard for sure.
Very strong, but they're trying to retaliate going into the mid lane. 3-manning mid.
Yeah, so that's a really good call. They say, our guys in the bot lane, they're basically done. We can't save them, we can't help them, so we're going to try to take an advantage where we can. League is all about making your opponent make decisions and then having kind of a cost benefit after those decisions are made.
Yeah, and they'll be able to take the turret.
Yeah. So they lost their AD carry, they lost their damage dealer in the bot lane, but they still were able to get something from it. When MIT invested those resources into bot, they sent 4 people to kill 1 guy. They said, okay, we'll send 3 people to kill your turret, and that's a larger structural advantage for our team.
Absolutely. Right now, a lot of the Harvard people are not worth that much gold. As the more you die in the game, the less gold you are worth upon the kill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not great that they're dying, but at the same time, it is better for MIT to be getting turrets and objectives.
Harvard is basically like running on a strategy of pity points right now from the game and hoping that they're going to be able to come back when it gets to the late game.
They do have the Draven, though, who is not exceptionally well at doing that.
Yeah, and here goes MIT again. See, they have all these tools to run in. There goes FlyQuest Ryan. Sebastian Park kind of locked out of the fight a little bit, but he's going in. He actually, I think he just flashed in, yeah. He flashed in under the tower trying to help his team desperately, but nothing really came of it.
I don't know if that was worth it in the end. They lost a lot of summoner spells.
Yeah, but they still were able to push them off the turret. A little bit of a scuffle happening in the top lane, but Garen just runs away.
And he'll be able to regen that health at his turret. And I think MIT might have to... Oh, maybe they're going to stay around trying to see for a bit.
I've been really impressed with Kirk and Sebastian here. I think that those 2 guys' bot lane went up against a collegiate bot lane. This is you know, the actual Harvard team. They're 3-1.
Yep. I mean, in all honesty, it is they did get a bit of help, but at the same time, they function exceptionally well.
Scoreboard. Yeah, Ryan going again. He's over and over. He is so bloodthirsty, but it might be a little bit too much this time. Sebastian Park can't save you, but he's still in the 1v2. But here comes Kled. All right, look at that big circle. That means Galio is on the way. He's able to help Vini Vici get out of that sticky situation. As 2 fall on the side of MIT. They probably heard me complimenting them. Maybe got a little too confident.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's a classic 1v1. I'm just going to keep hitting you.
He's going full AD. He's going full damage instead of the usual tank that Jarvan can build to make him stronger. He's going to be a lot more threatening with his, the amount of damage he can output, especially since their team is mainly comprised of squishy champions, except for Garen. Although Garen is falling a bit behind, so he may not be the strongest right now.
Right.
Looks like word.
Yeah, so right now it looks like the red team is trying to group together. When you're down this much in a game, you lose the ability to be able to make fights happen really often. You need to be able to group up to get advantages.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Another fight happening. That's going this slow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty standard fight. All right, we're going to be looking for Harvard. Remember, now we're at the stage of the game. We're about 12 to 15 minutes where you start to get these larger 5v5 fights, and that's where we need a little bit more crowd participation.
Yeah.
If you feel like you want Harvard to win, if you feel like you want MIT to win, we'll give you those signals to when it's time to give your team a little bit more energy. All right, but right now it's just kind of setting the stage. League is a game with a lot of like in-betweens.
A lot of setup. You want to, especially, it may not be so relevant in this game, but it always is relevant regardless. The minion positioning. You want the minions to be positioned in a place where you can get the most access to the map. So the minions are pushing in, doing damage to the tower, and so the enemy team will have to deal with them instead of dealing with where your team is.
That's right. But at 14-4, right now Harvard's win condition is to not fight for as long as possible. They are in desperate need of something to happen, so they either need really, really good synergy, they need a really good team fight where their opponents make some mistakes, or they need to just wait. Yep, and there goes Flycrest Ryan. They're going in for one last big team fight. Once again, it's Corner on that Galio, getting everybody in. Jeremy Lin has to run away until the charm, the flash out from Flyquest Ryan. If you're feeling a little bit of MIT, you're happy about that fight. Duck going down, 19 seconds on that death timer.
Harvard's not looking too good here. Oh,
and another engage from Ryan. He makes it out just with a sliver of health. Cornar going back in. MIT is so bloodthirsty this game.
Oh, the Kled is... Vinny Vici is just going
Vinny Vici and Mafcow going in over and over. Junior Boogie now with his third death. That was his sixth death on the jungler. This is a bloodbath.
This is not looking good for Harvard. Kled is very fed. I think legendary at this point. 8-0, no deaths, very strong. I believe 2 levels above his opponent.
Yeah.
Things are looking grim for Harvard. They need to come back.
It's very hard to theorize about how you come back from this. They're down a lot.
Yeah, a lot. We can even take a look at the goal difference, which is probably should be a bit more with the amount of kills, but right now it's 8K, around 8K difference. That means that MIT is going to have a lot more items at this point.
Yeah, one thing about League that it differs from traditional sports is that when you get a lead, not only do you have that kind of psychological advantage, the confidence advantage, you also have in-the-game advantages. You are rewarded for doing well, and it becomes an exponential process that we call snowballing. But here's Harvard trying to find something. They might have Sebastian Park, but there's Galio to the rescue, that big circle. Jeremy Lin a bit too far up, just spins his way out.
They're actually going to have a bit of pressure there, even though it is a 4v3. They still came out looking pretty healthy.
So because Harvard grouped up knowing that MIT has sent one of their men top, they have a numbers advantage here. They're just waiting on the Golden Guardians, Kirk Leg up on support to try to lead the lane and rejoin them.
They may be doing Dragon, but look at this.
Oh, they actually get a steal coming through from Sebastian Park.
And they're losing top lane turret.
And that's actually something we've seen in professional play. There has been Ezreal players this season who have constantly been stealing those objectives. So even though Harvard had control of that entire situation, at the last second, Sebastian Park rolls in and says, I'll take this.
Sebastian Park, his own player, Apollo on Clutch Gaming, was able to do that in competitive play.
Yeah, so this is
his own player.
Yeah, this is definitely a Clutch Gaming classic. The ability to steal objectives with an Ezreal Q. That long range, high damage ability.
Corner for a Galio, not exceptionally tanky. He has only built magic resist, which for the magic damage champions on the enemy team, such as Victor and Morgana, who GG Quackhope is playing, he will be pretty tanky against, but right now the Draven is doing a bit of damage because he is based in attack damage.
Yeah. So to give you some little background on the team, we had some fun facts. Who were the fun facts that we liked the most?
Should we do these two?
Yeah. I think Yeah, we have Victim not playing this game. Oh, there we go. Just more kills. So basically, if you are on Harvard and you see that Jarvan, if you see MIT Math Cow on your screen, you want to run for your life because he's going to be dunking on you. He's going to be jumping in and doing so much damage.
Just not giving them a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that AD Jarvan, when he is ahead, he does damage, and he is very threatening. And as we can also look in the top lane, their inhibitor is down. And when the inhibitor is down, which is when the third turret in the lane is gone, and you can destroy the inhibitor, which allows super minions from your base, which are these very strong minions, do a lot of damage, take a lot of health, that have a lot of health.
Yeah, basically where you would previously need to put a human being in that lane to try to keep your pressure up, you no longer need to have a person there. So earlier we talked about how Harvard was able to threaten that dragon because they had that numbers advantage. They no longer have that. They don't need to send one person top. And that's once again Golden Guardians and Harvard. Kirk Lake going down.
Oh, he's got the double kill on the bridge.
Yeah. You know, props to where Harvard has been doing well. I think that this Draven by Junior Boogie is a pretty good performance, as all things considered.
Yeah.
Jalen17 playing really defensively, not getting himself killed unexpectedly. And there it is, the smite coming through.
Justice.
Holy moly. And that's one on the board.
But they've lost their Nexus turret. They only have one left.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta take what you can.
I suppose so. Sebastian Park talking in all
yeah,
chat
you can see in the all chat.
Reportable.
But he strongly believes that the credit for that kill, the last hit on the opponent, should have gone over to Jeremy Lin, Jalen17, but it was stolen by Harvard's Duck, who is desperate to not have a horrible scoreboard this game. He's trying to look good. Prospective future employers.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be able to push top lane a bit to sort of relieve that pressure that MIT has been building.
Yeah, I feel like Harvard has had a good defense. So those inhibitors that we talked about that make it so that the attacking team gets advantages, it only stays down for, I believe, 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes or so, yeah.
And after that, you're still losing, but at least you're not losing quite so hard.
Yeah, it's very important. Even you can have your turret down, but your inhibitor to stay up is very important. Those super minions, they have so much pressure on the map.
Yeah, and so right now you see...
Oh, now we have our Baron Nashor spawning at 20 minutes into the game. Yeah. Baron Nashor offers an incredible buff, but first...
Oh, there it is.
The one person they did not want to have killed has been killed.
Yeah, so a classic... Oh, they're still fighting. Junior Boogie might be able to go down. Yeah, that's another one going over to the Kled. The three remaining members of Harvard slink away. One of the major objectives in League of Legends, it breaks the stalemate of games, is this giant worm monster, the Baron Nashor. But it takes almost an entire team and a healthy team.
Low.
Yeah,
it takes a. Be able to do it.
Yeah, the three of them can't alone face the Baron Nashor. They need somebody very tanky to help them. But I don't think they can do it. You see those health bars? Those are very, very low for a team that's trying to take Baron.
Their early smite too to get health back.
Yeah, they know that they can't be contested, so they're willing to be a little bit more risky here. This is a bold Baron call by MIT.
But I think they're able to safely do it because of the pressure we have in top lane, because of the pressure we have on the map.
Yeah.
GG Clayco already kind of pushing in bot lane because there's not really much else to do right now.
Yeah, he's what we call AFK pushing, AFK being short for away from keyboard, but here comes Harvard. They finally caught
Justice.
That's a second kill steal. Again, Jeremy Lin comes in with the smite. A ton of damage being dealt. And again, Kha'Zix, played by Harvard's Duck, comes in and says, actually, I think I'm going to take that one.
I need it for my second item that I haven't gotten yet.
But you know what? We'll be lame. We'll call it an alley-oop. All part of the team play. That's all good.
Actually, weird enough.
Yeah, Golden Guardians. Oh, he might not be able to make it out. It's Sebastian Park versus Kirk Lakeup, and he comes out on top.
Really,
that's his 8th death of the game.
Yeah, that's not looking good for the scoreboard-wise, but...
Yeah, you're going to have a deep talk after the game. Going to have to get the cameramen behind to do your next episode of your documentary. What happened, guys? Well, I died 8 times. You should probably not do that next time.
Oh my goodness.
Catching everybody. FlyQuest's Ryan on this Rakan has just been a monster this game.
Very... Suppart's doing really well. Their bot lane, Suppart, and Ryan, both, I mean, both League of Legends players for their teams, but...
Yeah, and it looks like now they're marching on the base. This could be the end for Harvard. They have 2 of their best players down. It is now up to Duck, Placob, and Jeremy Lin to try to defend their Nexus. It is exposed. This is the win condition for the game.
Yeah, I don't think...
Halfway down.
That is going to be...
3/4 down. One last engage. It looks like they're going for one last fight. They might be trying to actually extend the game. Oh, it's at the little sliver of health, and that's going to be it. MIT takes the game 28-8, absolutely destroying Harvard.
That was just... That entire game felt very one-sided. But, I mean, what can we say?
So who would be your MVP from that game?
MVP. I'm going to have to give it to Mafcow.
You're going to have to give it to Mafcow.
I feel like the first kill in the jungle was a start.
Yeah.
But he used that pressure incredibly well, which is a very good lesson for someone who wants to be a jungler, who wants to play someone like Jarvan. Very aggressive early, very strong late game as well. He used the map pressure from killing Kha'Zix to roam and offer...
He helps the whole team.
Yes, he helped the entire team. He got them ahead. And then the other parts of the team, the top laner, Vici, and the mid laner, Cornar, could roam and help bot lane, which is what happened at like around, I think, 7 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It was...
He used his own individual play, the early decisions that he made in a 1v1, and used that advantage to help every single part of the team, help all of them be able to get their lanes ahead. That's how you end up with a 28-8 scoreboard.
Yeah.
It's a simple story. All right, we're going to be having more games for you here, though. I think we're going to get the full MIT and full Harvard team proper. I was really impressed with the way that our celebrity players played for the most part.
Let's take a look at the celebrities as well.
So you had Jeremy Lin on the Garen. He held his own in lane until the ganks came through, until our MVP came and visited him. But then the rest of the game, he was there where he needed to be. He didn't get killed too often. The real standouts, of course, were Sebastian Park and Ryan Edens there in the bot lane.
I think, to be fair, they do have experience probably with their teams. Maybe they play with them, maybe they were inspired to play by them.
That's right.
But they performed exceptionally well. And I think they also...
played the game, yeah.
Yeah, they played well. Sebastian...
when I was looking at their play, I was like, those guys could be in my online games, and I wouldn't blink an eye. I'd be like, I'm happy with that performance.
Right.
All right, so let's give it up for the MIT team.
Oh.
Congratulate them.
Update that we're gonna have a 2v2. I think it's gonna be between.
This is a little bit of a grudge match.
Okay. So we're actually gonna fit in a 2 versus 2 game with our celebrity guests. We're gonna switch around the teams a bit. So we're gonna have Kirk Lacob and Ryan Edens play against Sebastian Park and Jeremy Lin. All right, so make some noise for them, everyone. So this 2v2 will be the first to 2 kills wins.
Main lessons and trade-offs in League is the question about whether or not you want to play more defensively and just kind of draw out the game, or do you want to just get in there and brawl? And I felt like Ryan Edens, he picked that Rakan. He was in a lane with his buddy. He was like, let's go in. Let's go in. And they did that. So we're now going to be seeing the 2v2. 2v2s are more rare in League of Legends. They usually are pride matches.
You never usually get them. It's usually the 1v1s.
Yeah.
But let's see how this goes. I'm not sure if we're on Summoner's Rift or the other map, Howling Abyss, but it would be interesting to see either one because I don't think either of us have seen a 2v2 before.
Yeah, I actually don't think I've ever seen a 2v2. I've seen 1v1s. There are Riot events, Riot Games being the creator of League of Legends and sort of the larger organizational structure that runs most of the professional scene. They have fun events where they'll have some of the top players in the world do 1v1s, which is a very rare format. And they usually come out with some pretty cheesy strategies, very specifically tailored for that stuff.
And these 1v1s, and I guess in this case 2v2s, they're very fun. So I guess they are going to be competing. But it's going to be fun. Hopefully we see some interesting picks. I mean, we could see... I don't know. I'm not entirely sure which champ's going to pull out.
I'm betting we're going to see another Garen, frankly.
Another Garen?
I think it is going to be Jeremy Lin's third game of League of Legends. And I think that you might want to stick to what you know when you're very new.
And Garen is a great champion for new players.
And honestly, he's not going to be too bad in the 2v2. He has abilities that set up his teammates well. And it's going to be a question of who everybody else picks.
Yeah.
And if they can get it set up, these are the questions.
Yeah, and I guess we'll see. In the meantime, should we just...
Let's just talk about life, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we can give a little bit more info on the esports scene in general with League of Legends. I think that one of the things that makes people really interested in League, and one of the things I really admire about it, is that it sets a lot of standards. It tries to push esports into more of a traditional sports pedigree.
Yes. Mainly through its structure, especially.
Right. I think there is, this year we have introduced franchising to League of Legends. That's how you had organizations like the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets become involved, is that you've kind of lowered the risk of your team being completely eliminated from the sport and increased the amount where your organizational excellence will be reflected in long-term success.
Yes, and investors feel safe putting money into teams, especially because they know that they will stay there.
We used to use a European-style relegation system where if you were the last-place team, you could be challenged by the amateur league and your slot taken.
Yes, which is a great way of maintaining good talent. Some good talent was not picked all the time.
But we're in the pick ban. It is that Garen first pick. Jeremy Lin hovers and locks in Yasuo. Yasuo, one of the most difficult champions in the game of League of Legends. You need hundreds of hours to master this champion. But the players on stage right now are saying, give me 3. Give me 3. On the other side, we have Blitzcrank and Echo.
Interesting pick. I don't know how they're going to be able to combo together. I guess...
It might just be... Oh, he's just hovering Echo. He hasn't locked it in.
Echo.
Yeah, but Blitzcrank is very famously... an exceptionally effective and one-dimensional champion. He does one thing, and he does it better than anybody else in the game. He grabs people, and he pulls them towards him.
Looks like the Echo is going to be picked here. All right, so we have Blitzcrank and Echo. Blitzcrank takes enemies, brings them to him. Echo does an incredible amount of damage, has a can slow enemies, has a dash, can dash 2 enemies.
Yeah.
Has a
so you see them playing it out right now. Their plan is you're going to put down your stun field.
Yep.
I'm going to pull them into your stun field, and then we're just going to go to town. On the other side, Garen and Yasuo, their game plan, the way that they've structured their page is we're just going to run them down. We're going to run them down, and we're going to hope it works.
Oh, and it's not... and Jeremy Lin is actually not on Garen. He's going to be on Yasuo this time. So we're going to see Yasuo.
That's right.
Oh,
and, Lin has Dota as his primary MOBA game, and Yasuo is actually a champion that really is unique to League of Legends. There isn't anybody quite like him in any other games in the genre.
Yeah.
He relies on very fast abilities. One of the things we talked about earlier. Go ahead. Sorry.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
okay.
All right, so Jeremy and Ryan switched seats. We're getting the information from behind the scenes.
All right, so he is
the names on the board are not true.
Okay, so when you see Glacko do a play, it's actually Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
You see Jeremy Lin do a play, it's Glacko.
Yeah. So this is a little bit of account sharing, which is actually a bannable offense in League of Legends.
But we're not going to ban it.
Yeah. Both of these players should be immediately disqualified, but that's okay. So it is still Jeremy Lin and that Garen. He is sticking with what he knows. And on Yasuo,
doing a little dance,
Kirk Lakin.
playing his little harmonica.
Yeah, we're lining up the cameras on the bottom.
Or his flute. It was a harmonica in this skin.
Yeah. That's my favorite Yasuo skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's just hear, if you had the game sounds on really high right now, you'd hear the beautiful sounds of harmonica playing.
Yes.
As Yasuo serenades us before.
The sound of the West.
That's right. So there's no reason for these teams to fight each other. They're both hiding under their towers, which do a lot of damage. So they just got to wait until these minions come. We talked about a long time ago, when you kill the minions, you get gold, you get items, you get stronger. So they just waited until those guys showed up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, grab
First
a little wide.
He's going to miss.
Yeah.
Galen's going in. Get some damage off and stay safe. He has the Comet, Arcane Comet, which is a keystone that shoots a little comet out when you hit someone with an ability.
Yeah.
I guess in this case, his Q, his main source of engage and damage, would, I guess, activate that.
Harvard kind of backs off a little bit. They're a little bit nervous about that Blitzcrank grab, and it comes through. The first grab landing, and everybody's now using all their moves. Looks like Jeremy Lin in real trouble here on that Garen, a second ignite. But Garen, we talked about it, he is so tanky, and here he comes, Kirk Lakeup with first blood. He finally redeems himself after that last game on Morgana.
I'm not entirely sure what happens now. I guess they just go for Ryan.
Yeah, so basically, FlyQuest's Ryan, Clutch Gaming, Sebastian Park, they went all in on Jeremy Lin. They were not able to get what they needed because his champion was too tanky, too much health, too much defense.
Oh, it's first to two. Okay.
We're playing first to two. Usually in 1v1s, it's like the first kill ends it, but because we got two guys here, we've doubled up. It is now first 2 kills is the winner. So Harvard is halfway through.
And Jeremy Lin still has his summoners up. So if they engage again, it's going to be difficult because...
Yeah. He basically held his cards. He said, you guys are bluffing. You don't have the damage. You don't have the ability to kill me right here. I'm going to hold on to my cards, and the next time we have a fight, I have the advantage.
They're just going to be farming now. They want to play safe because if they mess up...
Oh, there's a grab on the squishier of the two. Jeremy Lin coming to the rescue, trying to get that spin to win out, and so much damage done on Sebastian Park. There goes Kirk Blake up again, but he's really close. He gets it! I can't believe it. It's 1 in return, but that's 2-1, a victory for the Harvard squad. They're saying the team pulled me back. They're saying we had all these college guys play with us. We were better the whole time.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, they're looking to double or nothing?
Double or nothing.
They're looking to keep going.
All right.
There are words exchanged.
All right, so let's give it up for Kirk Lakeup, Ryan Edens, Sebastian Park, and Jeremy Lin, everybody. So, thank you guys so much again. Again, these are panelists. At 3 p.m. we have Esports Analytics panel featuring 3 of our guests, so make sure to make that. So stay tuned. In about 5 minutes, we're going to have our keynote speaker that we moved from this morning. So that'll be Esports Beyond the Pros starting in about 5 minutes.